Assalamu alaikum. I got a request about making Somali pancake, Injera, Lahoh, also known as Injera by some people. It's very similar to the Ethiopian one. Someone asked me to make the fermented pancake mix. So I'm going to show you how to make the fermented Somali pancake. The other day I showed you the express mix, and I'm going to show you the fermented one. The difference is this one, there is no yogurt in it because you really don't want to leave yogurt outside. So the first thing you want to do is add 3 cups of water. So I have in here 3 cups of water. And I forgot to say in the first video, the water has to be warm, proper warm water to make the yeast work. But you have to be careful with yeast because you don't want to make the water too hot because it will kill the yeast. But it has to be proper warm water, not cold water, to activate the yeast. And if you make an express pancake like the other day, and you add in the yogurt, you have to also make sure that the yogurt is at room temperature. Otherwise, it will also affect the yeast. Yeast is it's a very difficult thing to get to work. So you have to make sure the water is warm. So I'm adding the teaspoon of yeast. Okay, next to go in is a tablespoon of sugar. Activate the yeast. I usually use brown or demerara sugar. I prefer it. So next to go in is the tablespoon of brown sugar. Okay, next to go in, this is optional, is half a teaspoon of Fenugreek Seed powder. This is very healthy for you, very good for you. It has all these nutrients and proteins and vitamins and iron and all kinds of stuff. Did you also know, well, this is optional because some people don't like the taste, but I think it adds a nice taste to it, the fenugreek seed. Did you also know that fermented food, like fermented pancake, like Somali pancake we're making now, all fermented food is very good for you. It puts in minerals and vitamins that were not already in there. It creates vitamins out of air, out of thin air. Just by fermenting food, it makes the food much better for you and healthier. Next to go in is the flour. I've put in already 2 cups of plain flour, plain all-purpose flour. You can put in self-raising flour, but I don't have it. But you can put in self-raising flour. That'll make the pancake more fluffy, which is nicer. If you have self-raising, put self-raising, but I have plain flour. So it doesn't matter. Just put in any kind of white flour. So I've put in the half now. So I've put in altogether 2.5 using this cup. This is the same cup I'm using for all my measurements. So 2.5 cups of flour. Okay, next to go in is half a cup of semolina. Half a cup of semolina. There it goes. Half a cup semolina. As I said in my other video, I prefer cornmeal, but I don't have it. I can't find it where I am. You can put cornmeal in instead of semolina, half cup cornmeal. Or you can use millet flour, sorghum flour, even oats. If you find fine oats, like in powder form, you can put it in here instead of the semolina as a replacement. Okay, next to go in is 2 teaspoons of, basically a tablespoon of baking powder. A tablespoon of baking powder. And the last thing will be half a teaspoon of salt. I think in my last video I said a teaspoon of salt, but that is way too much. Half a teaspoon or even less salt. I didn't record it, but I put in a quarter, less than half a teaspoon. I put less than half a teaspoon of salt in here as well. You need the salt to activate the baking soda. So there you have it. That's everything, and now I'm going to blend it all together. I'll show you the final products. Blend on high. After blending for a minute, just make sure you get all the things stuck on the side off. So take it off. Get all the flour stuck on the sides. Make sure you mix it properly all together. It should have a consistency like this. It's a bit, yes, it's not too thick and it's not too thin. It's a little bit runny, but a little bit. It's thinner than cake mix, but it's thicker than crepe mix. Like the mix you make for crepes. It has to be thicker than that, but thinner than cake mix. Somewhere in the middle like this. If you think it's a little bit too thick, add a bit extra water. Make sure you don't add too much water. Just add a little drop at a time. So make sure you get it all off the sides and put it back on high on the blender for another 1 or 2 minutes until it's ready. Okay, after it's been blended now for about 3 minutes on high, it's ready, it's done, 100% ready. So I'm just going to put it in an airtight container like this. If you don't have an airtight container like this, you can just literally put it in a bowl with foil lid. But I've got an airtight container, so I'm going to put all the mix in here like this. Close the lid and your batter will be ready. If you want it very sour, which I like, I'm going to leave it outside like this. I'm going to just put it in a cupboard like this for 2 days. It'll come out very nice and fermented and sour, like sourdough bread. If you don't want it sour, you can literally cook this after 1 hour. Just leave it in an airtight container like this for 1 hour. Let the yeast do its work. And it'll be ready in 1 hour. Or you can make it after 24 hours. It'll be a little bit sour. If you want it proper sour, you leave it out for 2 days outside at room temperature. After 2 days, you can store it in the fridge for 3, 4, 5 days. It's fine, you can store it in the fridge after you've left it out for 2 days. And it will be 100% ready for you. I have my non-stick flat pan ready, frying pan ready. No oil, nothing, because it's non-stick. I've put it on the hob on high heat for about 1 or 2 minutes. Now it's ready for the batter to go in there. So the first thing you need to do is get about this much of batter, a little bit more than half of the ladle full of the batter. And then we're going to put it on the fire. We're going to put it in the pan. I'll show you how I'll do it. It's not easy doing this with the video. I'm probably going to make a mess of it. So you put it in the middle like this. Go to the center. And you spread it around like this in a circular manner. Like this. You spread it out. It's a lot easier if you don't have a mobile in your hand. So this technique will take some time. As you can see, it's going very well, although it's not perfect because it's difficult to hold the camera while you're doing this. So you put it in the middle, and you swirl it around until you get something like this. And then you wait for a little while until the batter is cooked. And you know it's ready when you start to see brown here. So you wait until you see the browns around the edges. Also, the edges will start lifting up. So you just wait for a minute or two and it will be ready. So I'm gonna make about 4 of these for my breakfast. They're very thin. So I'm gonna have about 4 of them for breakfast. So while I'm waiting for the pancake to be done, I'll show you what I'm gonna have in my pancake. I have my Somali tea with cinnamon, a little bit of elaichi powder, cardamoms, cinnamon powder, ginger powder, black tea. I'm gonna add some evaporated milk to it. And also we have some honey and this is 100% pure sesame oil. This is very traditional to eat with the pancake. If you can't find that, but make sure you do not use the roasted sesame oil that you find in Chinese stores, because it will absolutely ruin the Injera, the Somali pancake. Make sure it's 100% pure sesame oil, this color, not the roasted sesame oil. That will ruin it. Okay, we need to go back to the fire because I forgot about it. It's a little bit too brown, but it'll be fine. Let me just take it off. So I took it off. It's a nice, beautiful brown color. You don't have to make it this brown. You can make it a little bit less brown. You see all the lovely bubbles. As I was explaining, you can add, instead of sesame oil, you can add olive oil, because that's a lot easier to find. Sesame oil is very good for you. And instead of the honey, you can use sugar, agave, whatever you like, sweetener, maple syrup. And instead of the oil, you can use ghee butter, which is not healthy. Or you can use normal natural butter, or you can use margarine. But this is very healthy. So I'm probably, to my 4 Injera I'm going to have for breakfast, I'm going to add a teaspoon of sesame oil. And as much honey as I like, probably maybe a tablespoon of honey. Because I like honey. You can add less honey if you think it's unhealthy. Maybe not a tablespoon, half a tablespoon. Yes. With my 4 Injera. So I've made one. When it gets brown like this, you don't have to make it as dark brown as this one. You can make it a little bit lighter, golden brown. When you see golden brown around here, you take it off with a fork. You just take it off like this with a fork from the pan, from the non-stick pan, and it will be ready. So let me do the other 3 and I'll come back to you. My 4 Injera are ready now, and I've got my teaspoon of the sesame oil. Sesame oil has a lot of health benefits. You should read up about it. It's very good for you. I told you can put olive oil or butter or whatever you wish. Olive oil and sesame oil are the better alternatives because they're healthier. So I've added my sesame oil, teaspoon of sesame oil to the 4 Injera. And next I'm going to add my honey, and I'll show you the final product with my tea. So here is the final product with my Somali tea. The Injera is ready and done. I've put the honey and the sesame oil in there, and it's ready to eat for breakfast. You can eat the Injera or Lahoh Somali pancake either sweet or sour. You can eat it with any kind of meat, soup, vegetables. So you can eat it with sweet things or sour or salty, whatever. It'll go with anything. And the rest of the batter I have left, I'll put it in the fridge. I might have it for breakfast tomorrow. I might have it for lunch with whatever I'm eating for lunch. I showed you before, I ate it with eggs about 4 or 5 days ago. I ate it with some eggs. That was a different mix batter that I used before. So it goes with anything. Thank you for watching. I hope you try it and enjoy it. Assalamu alaikum.